guys, Kian here, and I'm very excited for the video which I'm making today, which is namely the 1 week challenge I did starting last week. So Tuesday the 21st is when I started, and as you can see here, it's the 29th of January. So it's been 8 days since I began, and it was a weekly challenge, so I've already finished. And if you didn't know from the title, I've been tracking every 10 minutes of my day for the past 7 days, and this spreadsheet with all of the data is available in the link in the description, so you can check how I spent my time. And the main purpose for me to make this challenge was to investigate how my time was being spent in order to see what can be optimized. So I'm really into quantification, and you can see here, this took me more than an hour because one thing that I'd like to say is that I made a mistake by making each day equal to 2 columns. So if you see here, Tuesday has a description column and then also a category column. And therefore, if you know in Google Sheets, you can kind of go like this to fill in. But since it was every 2 columns, I had to do a lot of this manually. But I got it done, and I've calculated the mean and standard deviation of every single activity. There's 29. So I have 29 categories here. And one thing that I'd like to quickly say now before I forget is that I did make a template. So you can just copy this from the spreadsheet, and I have it every hour, but it's up to you to make the interval. It's really simple. If you want to do every 30 minutes, then just change one of these to 12, like 30 a.m. And then, I got it wrong, 12:30 a.m. And then you just go like this, and it should scale all the way. So you can see how it works, and that's really simple. So that template is there, and I really encourage you to do this because it's quite insightful. But this is just the data, the raw data. I did process it quite a bit into here. So the 2 graphs which I really enjoy and think are quite compelling are the sleep time and wake time. So this is when I fell asleep and when I woke up. One thing I will add is that wake time is much more accurate, since sleep time is when I go to bed and not when I am actually falling asleep. However, you can think that on a day-to-day basis, the difference between falling asleep and going to bed is equal. So it's just a constant error, a systematic error. Okay, so as you can see, I started the challenge off sleeping around 9:30, and then towards like the middle here, I kind of maintained 9 p.m.-ish. However, in terms of wake time, it pretty much became like really early. Today was an exception because I've been gaining some sleep back. I'll actually go through this right now. So this is like the most interesting bar in my opinion, the row of sleep per day. So you can see I started with 7.5, 6.83. So these are all pretty standard. Then 8. And then there's the 2 days, which are the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday, I only slept 6 and 2/3 hours both days. And you can see here on the 27th, I slept at 7 p.m. because that was the day after the 2 sleep deprived days. And I slept from 7 p.m. to, I think let me see when did I, so I slept from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m., which is 9.5 hours. And yeah, that was quite remarkable. Let me just make sure I'm not making it 5. So no, the wake time was here, in fact. So it's supposed to be from 7 to 4:20. And I suppose it just rounds. So that's the one thing here that you need to know, that it is rounding. And one interesting fact as well is that the time is not constant. So these values should all be around 24. But the issue is that since sleep goes past a single day, then it will mess it up, because it's not like we sleep from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. in a single day. It crosses one day. So unless you sleep at the exact same time and the exact same amount, this is why I have this discrepancy here. And if you're wondering why Tuesday I only did 10 hours worth of events, this is because I started the challenge at 6 p.m. on Tuesday. Therefore, the entire day was not recorded. But as I was saying, it's from 7 p.m. to 4:20, which was rounded up to 4:30. So we have 5 hours on the night, and then 4.5. So 9.5 is the result here. And then I have a 7.6, which was literally yesterday. So there you go. You can also see that whenever this goes down, the wake time also goes down, because if I slept at 7 p.m., of course, I'm not going to wake up at 5 a.m. because that would be 10 hours of sleep. So 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. would be 10 hours of sleep. Yes. So yeah, this is a really interesting graph. Otherwise, there's like the deep work one, which was important. So I split up all of like the productive things into productivity, deep work, and studying. So studying is anything to do with school. Productivity is something which will improve my system, but is not directly related to learning. And then deep work is really learning. One thing I will note, and in the ChatGPT analysis, it'll be highlighted, is that the standard deviation of deep work was really high. And this is, of course, because in the weekend, I do a lot more than in the weekday. So although this is the highest standard deviation of any value, it is expected because it's quite a abnormal shift from weekend to weekday. And then I'll just go quickly over the standard deviations for wake time, since these are the most quantifiable ones. So I have average wake time at 3:58, so pretty much 4 a.m., and then average sleep time of 8:42. And then I do have a higher variance sleep time than wake up time. That is to say that I wake up around the same time more so than I go to sleep at the same time. And this is something that I can now improve, which is to say I need to sleep at a more consistent time, because if we look at the one standard deviation variance, it's both forward and backward 47 minutes, which is highly variant. And now I'm going to transition into the ChatGPT analysis. So this is amazing. And what happened is that I just asked ChatGPT, I'll show the prompt in case you want to replicate this identically. I said, I want to give you the data to see if there are any unique findings you can uncover. Here it is. And I literally just copy pasted the sheet. One thing that I would like to know, if somebody tries this, please let me know, is if I exported this as an XLSX, which is a Excel file format, and then I was thinking I could import it here as a file. Perhaps ChatGPT has a better Excel file parser, but I just pasted it in and I got really good insights. So let's go through those for the end of the video. First of all, they do say, or ChatGPT says, that my sleep duration varies quite significantly. So 0.96, so pretty much 1 hour of standard deviation on my sleep. And where is that in the data? That's here. So sleep per day, of course, the average was 7.5. I definitely like that to be 8, since the CDC recommendation is 7 to 9. If I can be in the middle, that's ideal. So I need to sleep 30 minutes more. And the variation comes mostly from the fact that I'm sleeping at different times. So there's quite high variation, for example, from 9:30 to 7 p.m. I'm going to be honest, the 7 p.m. kind of ruined the entire thing. So maybe if I slept at 9 that same day, it wouldn't have changed it much. But that's something that is really good insight from ChatGPT. It also has my best sleep day, which was the 27th, 9.5. It's amazing how it can essentially understand the row and column data. I thought that it would maybe confuse things, but if you go 127, then it'll really be this date here. So on that day, I slept 9.5 hours. And this is just to say, like, it's impressive to what extent ChatGPT is good at processing different forms of data. And this is just a testament to the amount of training it receives anyways. And then there was the worst sleep day, which was literally the weekend. So if we go here to my calendar, the 26th and the 25th were both 6.67 hours. So I was grinding so much. So I'll accept that. And then let's go over here. So this is just sleep patterns. And it says my mean sleep is good, which it is within the 7 to 9 range. Mean wake time was 4 a.m. and then 8:45, but more variable. So it even told me, suggesting bedtime drift, which is to say that my bedtime is drifting a lot. And I will definitely improve this. Let's move on now to the productivity analysis. It also has the earliest and the latest wake, which is interesting to see the spread. So the spread for wake time is 1.5 hours from 3:10 on the earliest day to 4:40. Okay, my most productive day, by summing up deep work, coding, and productivity, like once again, I cannot emphasize how impressive this is, that it realizes that productivity, deep work, coding are the 3 productive categories. So it clusters these together and then it performs the sum, which, yeah, I just can't comprehend how impressive that is. So that was 7.5 hours and that was Sunday. So the 26th was Sunday. And then the least productive day was Tuesday. So it thinks that was a rest day because it was 0 hours. But like I said before, I started that challenge at 6 p.m. So from 6 p.m. to sleeping at 8 p.m., all I did was commute home. Or I was already home. All I did was I don't know what I did. I was just reading for 2 hours maybe. But it was nothing that was deep work. And then once again, it says reducing fluctuation could improve consistency on deep work. But as I said, deep work on the weekends is much more. So I accept the variance because I cannot do 10 hours on a weekday as opposed to a weekend where I have no other engagements. Okay, so exercise, it says that is inconsistent, but I have literally a schedule. So if it saw a month-to-month basis, then it would be more consistent. If I show you what I have here and we go to exercise, where is it? Exercise per day. So I have 2 rest days and 5 exercise days. And that's why you can see 0, 0, and the rest are exercise. And it's really consistent, honestly. It's around 1 hour per day. And the 27th, which is Monday, and Friday are my 2 rest days. So I do Tuesday to Thursday and then Saturday, Sunday. So that thing ChatGPT did get wrong. And yeah, it just has the longest exercise, which was 1 1/3 hour. That was a run on Sunday. And then the 0 exercise days, it says I should do 30 minutes, but I literally have this pre-programmed where I do exercise only 5 days a week, even though yoga is twice a week. So I have yoga twice a week, and it says only once a week, but let me just make sure I'm not mistaken. It is twice a week, right? So if I go to yoga here, I had 1 hour here and 1 hour here. So it did not realize that yoga was only was twice a week. It does put the tilde, but it should have put twice. Anyways, okay, there's only a few more. So it's content creation. All right, so what does it say? It's highly irregular. Once again, that is a 1 hour standard deviation. So the biggest creation day was the Tuesday, which is interesting because that was the shortest day. So let me see why that is. Let's go into the time tracker and get to Tuesday. What was I doing content creation for? I think I made a DeepSeek video, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I made the DeepSeek R1 video. So that literally took me 2 hours. So yeah, if we just look at what I did on Tuesday, because that's the most anomalous day, it was commute, food prep, content creation, night routine, and then sleep. So there's no deep work there. It was just content creation. And let's go back to ChatGPT for the end. What else is there? Study time is scattered, 0.83, same type of standard deviation as content creation. And there was a lot of 0 study days, but this is because school is my lowest priority, honestly. So the more 0 study days there are, the better, because I need to focus on extracurricular and optimization more than studying. Of course, still getting A's, but with the least amount of effort possible. That is literally my my loss function. I did study a lot apparently on Monday, the 22nd, which was 2 hours. So I got to study less on Mondays, I guess. And there's another thing here, minimal days. So these days where it's a 1/3 content creation, that would have literally just been me uploading my time lapse, because I upload a time lapse every day of the work I did. So yeah, honestly, I think my content schedule is already quite structured. I upload videos approximately every 3 days, and I do the time lapse every single day. So let's see what it says. Okay, it just gives me some other things. So sleep transfers productivity, wake up time distribution, exercise and deeper correlation, content creation and consistency, and overall activity breakdown. So I'll leave those as a activity for you. If you want to generate the graph and then see what these give you, please do so. It's interesting because now with YouTube, you can directly copy paste on the screen. So if you're on a computer, I think you can really highlight this and then copy it. And I highly recommend you to do this challenge. Once again, I have the template here. And one thing I'll change right now actually is that I'll make the columns I'll make the days just one column somehow. I don't know actually if that'll be possible. Never mind. So I won't make it one column because you need to have the description and the category. But if you want to have much easier data analysis, I would say just remove the description. So just go like this, delete, and then only put the category. So if you slept or if you exercised, just go like that. And then you can perform the analysis much easier. With that being said, that's all for the challenge now. I will say that the next challenge I'm doing, which you can see here, is called single tasking. So whereas I did every 10 minutes last week, starting tomorrow, I'm going to be doing every hour to prevent myself from multitasking, because multitasking is the root of all evil. So this challenge will be very interesting, and I'll be doing an exact same analysis in 1 week's time. So expect a video around Friday in February, because I'll need a day to do all of the analysis. And thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any feedback.